All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another market update with your host, Coach Avalos. And want to cover a few things today with CPI data coming out tomorrow. But the first thing I want to do is talk about SPX. So this guy down here with the glasses, man, he's calling it correctly, I think. So let's take a look. This video was put out the other day and said 4,400 is coming. Is it really coming? Well, that depends, right? So are we going to the moon? I think we're going to the moon, but where is the moon, right? It actually covered me up. I'm over here. Is the moon under us or is it on top of us? So let's find out. So in the video on Sunday, guys, I covered the sign lines. You can see them down here, right? So we see the blue, then we have the green, and then we have the pink. So I gave the example of a bicycle wheel or a Ferris wheel. And so we understand if we started at the top, how long is it going to take for us to come all the way back? So looks like we're still on the pink wheel or on the pink sign line. So for now, we're going up. So let's take a look at the chart. All right, so we talked about the pink line. Here it is, right? Or here it is. But then we also see a trend right up here with SPX, and it's still going up. And we did cover, there was a gap, okay? And it looks like we started filling this gap in before we filled in the gap at the bottom. So that is probably going to happen. CPI data. What are we looking for in CPI data? So how do we know if we're going to go up or down tomorrow? Very simple. Let's look at the history and let's look at what might come out tomorrow. So here's a pretty good game plan that came out today from JP Morgan. This was published out on CNBC. So 6.6 or higher, right? What's going to happen if that CPI comes in there? We'll see a 2.5 to 3% reduction in the S&P. But if we have a 6.4 to 6.6 right in here, we'll see 1.5 to 2%. And again, 6.4 or lower, we're going to get a 3% to 3.5% raise in S&P. Now, we still have a lot of stuff that's going on, but what happens in the market, if people see that we're getting a little bit better, they think we're on our way to a soft landing. So what do? They go buy, and the market will rip tomorrow. So keep this in front of you. If you are buying shares, you're buying the dip, wait till all this settles out because there might be a turnaround or another dip after this. All right, so let's go back to SPX. But before we go back to SPX, I want to remind you guys, hey, you've been doing a great job. Do me a favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you want to get alerted to the next video. You guys have been doing a great job sharing it. I'm seeing the analytics is growing. It's really helping the channel. Want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. So that's been awesome. All right, so we said we were going to fill this gap, or we could potentially fill a gap down here, but it looks like we're going to take the top one. So there it goes. And if you look closer to this chart, and if you understand patterns, potentially here we could be having a potential cup and handle at some point. But what's going to happen tomorrow, we don't know yet, but we know we're either going to rip up or we're going to rip down. So just be prepared. Hopefully you guys are ready for it. If not, I've got some courses, guys. Click on the link down below. And hey, look, you get 30 days money back guarantee. Try it out. It's a bunch of videos. I go super slow and explain all this stuff to you and teach you how to buy and how to sell, but I teach you on paper trade first so that you have the confidence, one, in how to use the tools, two, how to enter and how to exit, and three, how to play options if you're going to play options. So remember that. All right, guys, next on the list is Ulta. So you guys know I've been watching Ulta, and today was a great time to get into Ulta, but I did miss this because I was focused on SPX, but Ulta did reach an all-time high and it found some support. So if you're interested in playing it, just draw this line on the 5-minute and watch it tomorrow. I think Ulta is going to fill this gap and continue to go up, especially if we get CPI data that everybody loves in the market. All right, so before I go to the other stocks, guys, let's look at the dollar. So the dollar was not behaving today. it actually looked like it was almost being manipulated, right? So at the beginning of the day, it took a fall down, and obviously the stocks took advantage of that, started rising, it came back up, down, up, then it went across, which is our consolidation, if you guys remember from some of the free course videos I put on here on YouTube. But then it started going down, and I started charting it, and you can see that we had a really bearish run here, and at some point I knew it has to break out or break down, and sure enough it broke down, and this is what we call a false breakout. So it came down, found some previous support, and then it started bouncing around, which I started kind of predicting, and I do have a little bit of a prediction model in me, and I knew that it was going to break out, but it was not going to get past this point here, the 103.30. So it did come down. It continues to go down. So let's see what happens tomorrow. My estimate is that it's going to continue to go down because of what's going on with the banks, and that's going to affect some of the stocks, guys. So keep an eye on DXY. All right, now I want to cover something interesting I found today that I think you guys, if you're playing QQQ, might find interesting. So it did break its resistance today, but one of the things that I'm noticing with it on the 1 hour, potentially this could be a cup and handle with QQQ. So let me chart this a little bit for you guys so you can see we had the cup there. Okay. And then now, you know what? Let me make you a little channel instead. And now we have a full cup and handle formed. So potentially we can see a nice run up. It's got support. And if we do our measured move, we can see QQQ at some point from this breakout make it all the way to 290, guys. So if you're playing QQQ and you're bullish, okay, you've got RSI and MACD on your side on the 4 hour and on the daily. So if you're playing QQQ, this could be a nice little bull run happening pretty soon, guys. Even looks like it on the daily if you guys take a look here. So keep an eye on it. If you're playing it, hey, and you've been in it, congratulations. All right, now we have Apple. Apple was worrying a lot of people because it started getting into an ascending wedge, guys. And this was really interesting when this happened, because at some point we had a feeling like this is going to break down, and it did break down, but it did start making a run back up. And if you guys see what happened here, right, we had about 75 to 85% of this fall, and then Apple started making a run back up. But looks like Apple is being, if we come over here, okay, from a while back all the way back to December, it's got some nice resistance in there, but it broke out today. But it did get a lot of resistance during the day. And if you follow DXY like I do, go ahead and add Apple as an indicator there. You can see the correlation between each one. What I see is that when the dollar goes down, Apple goes up. So keep an eye on that. Let me see if I can show you DXY on the hourly. You can see here, okay, on the last hour. Let me highlight this for you. Last hour of the day. And this is 1600 here. So it started making a run down, and Apple started making a run up. So keep an eye on that if you guys are playing Apple. Okay, we have Amazon. Amazon's doing the very same thing as QQQ, right? It looks like it might be in a cup and handle. Let me straighten this out for you guys. We have Google. Google again, for some reason, is super bullish now, which is nice to see. It's a very good stock. So if you guys are interested, you might take a small position now. Not all of it, because we still could see a downturn. You have Microsoft, super bullish, which is helping QQQ. So it's in a nice little channel on the way up. Let me show you what I see. We did have that rising wedge. Okay, but overall, it's in a nice channel headed up, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop. So if you're playing Microsoft, you've been in calls, hey, congratulations. Same thing with Tesla. Tesla, we have a nice channel headed up. Okay. And from everything I'm reading, and there's a lot of numbers out there, guys. If you're interested, hey, sign up for the courses and I'll show you how to find this information. Tesla is showing an expiration for January 20th. Okay. There's about $8 billion of puts that are going to expire. What does that mean? It means this price could potentially skyrocket. So be ready for the sign. And when the sign comes, you guys will know. And that's not it, but I thought you might enjoy that. All right, let's take a look at SPX on the hourly, and I'll tell you how I was playing this bad boy today. It was very easy, just like the other day. Yesterday was a little bit of traffic, but today was super easy on SPX. So I'll show you some of the interesting and easy ways to get into SPX. So right in here, you can see we had support. We did come down at some point, but we didn't break this channel. We didn't even make it to the bottom of the channel, guys. So that tells me, hey, this is potentially a good time to come in, and with a nice tight stop loss. So you can see that we did have confirmation, and I'm gonna blow this up for you guys here. So right here at the bottom, you can see that SPX, and when you guys are doing this, you know, it pays to be patient, guys. Let me get you a better indicator here. So it pays to be patient. So we did see it come down, okay, and it hit that support line there, okay, did come up, came back down here, and we saw a higher low, and eventually, right, it found support and it just continued to go. So whenever you see this, it's really simple, okay? You don't jump into the trade until you see this happen. So this is 1, 2, 3 points that you need. And then the fourth one is going to be your confirmation where you get your higher low. And eventually you'll see higher lows all the way up. So entering the trade at this fourth point is a good time for me, okay? And if you see this point here, which is our second point right in here, okay, this is where you set your stop loss. So I'm going to buy it, and then I am going to set a stop loss. So in case it didn't do this, in case it came down here, then my stop loss will stop me. But if it didn't, which most of the times it won't, it's really easy. And then after that, you just let it run, okay, until you're ready to take profits. I always recommend take your profits at 5%, so you learn how to do it at 10%. If you're not doing it at 5, you're not going to do it at 10. And if it turns around on you, you guys are going to have a really bad day. So you can see here, we are still headed up, and it's going to be a nice day if it continues to go up, because I have 2 calls that I held on to for SPX. And I also bought a strangle. If you guys want to know what a strangle is, it's buying a call and a put at the same time. And it's called protection. So you're protected either way. Wherever the stock goes, you're going to be protected. You're going to have a profit. It's going to be a smaller profit, but you need volatility, which we will have it tomorrow. All right. So just for education purposes, guys, I'm going to show you. So these are the positions I currently have. And the first one is my 2 calls that I talked about when I entered it and I saw the move continue up. Here is the result so far. So this one's doing well, 15.72% and 16.4. Now I know I tell you guys, hey, you should be able to sell at 5, but when you learn how to sell at 5, you're going to learn how to sell at 10. And at some point you'll be able to build up to get to 16, 20, and potentially 30. Okay, over here is the strangle. So you can see in a strangle, I bought a put, then I bought a call. Okay, so these both expire on January 18th. Okay, now the put's not doing well because I bought them at the same time. So that means that if the stock goes up, which it did, the put will start turning red, but then the call starts turning green, and then the call will end up not only taking care of the red, but it's going to create a profit. And you can see here that there is a profit already. Now I'm going to wait for tomorrow, because if it reverses, I've got time. This doesn't expire till January 18th. So I've got all day tomorrow, all day the next day to figure out what I'm going to do. And usually this works out when there's big moves like CPI or any type of news that's coming. So again, if you guys want to learn how to do this, guys, remember I have links below so you guys can learn how to do it. It's very simple. And one thing I want to remind you guys of is, please do me a favor. If you find this valuable and you want to say thank you, clicking like is the way you say thanks, and I'll continue to put out more content for you guys. But remember, this here is taught in the courses. So if you guys want to learn how to do this, it's not hard. It took me a long time. I did a lot of studying, and now I'm doing all the heavy lifting for you guys, and I'll show you in a simple course how to do this. And you can practice with paper trading, and then after that we can do it together on your very first one, so that you feel confident, and I can guide you through. If it turns the wrong way, I'll show you how to get out of it, and get out of it with a green outcome. Okay, so I hope this video helps you guys out, and we'll see what happens tomorrow in the morning. Until the next video, guys, I'm wishing you a very healthy and green day tomorrow. Take care.